Hello, good morning. This is Seku Radio in Sarasota, Florida, October 28, 2019. Today, our guest name is Marianne Sibille. Marianne Sibille is a graphic designer, and she's been doing graphic design for about 15 years. Without speaking for Marianne, are you there? Welcome to Seku Radio. Would you be kind to introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hello, Saku, and thank you for inviting me. My name is Marianne Sibille, and yes, I'm being graphic designer for more than 15 years. But I started first as a professional tennis player. That was my plan, to become a professional tennis player, play many years, and then that didn't work out. Went to college on a nice scholarship, and then I fell in love with the graphic design, with the art of graphic design, and ever since I'm being a professional graphic designer since. And I still keep playing some tennis.
Good. Since you mentioned tennis, let's spend a little time on tennis before we move on to graphic design.
Okay.
Can you tell us your story, your tennis story? Because every one of us, tennis player, golfers, or designer, or radio host, we all have that story people want to listen to or want to know.
Yes. Well, my love for tennis started when I was 8 years old. I was watching with my grandfather in Holland a final with Monica Seles and Steffi Graf. It was Stuttgart. And I saw that match and I was, okay, I want to play tennis. This was what I wanted to do. And I went back home. At the time, I used to live in Caracas, Venezuela. And I went back home and I was maybe for 2 years bothering my parents, like, please, I want to play tennis. Eventually, 3 years later, when I was 10, I started playing tennis. And it was love at first sight. I love it. I played every day. I started first twice a week. And in less than a month, I was playing every day for an hour. Pretty quickly, I jumped into the junior ranking in Venezuela under 14. I finished number 8 in the country under category 14 age. And then I decided that I would like to, keep expanding and playing more tennis. And with the help of my parents, I moved to Miami, Florida for a tennis academy. And I trained there for many years. I played junior tournaments around the United States, in South America, as well as in Europe. And then was time to go to professional. I was close to be now 18 years old. And I decided, well, let's do some professional. It's hard. Tennis is beautiful, but it's also a hard sport to find sponsorships. And I play a couple of professional tournaments, some challengers, and that wasn't for me. Then I realized I have to go back to college. I had a wonderful opportunity to find a full scholarship in tennis in a great university here in Florida. But one of the things was, for so many years, I was so focused in tennis. What career should I do? Should I do accounting like my father? Should I do architecture? I wasn't sure. And art was always something that I loved. And I had a wonderful professor in college that told me to make a little pieces of what I would like to do. And I did a lot of research in art. And I found graphic design as something that I would love to do. And I did the test, like a little pieces for it. And from that, I started then taking classes. And yeah, I graduated as a graphic designer. So that's
Great.
the little story from tennis to how I jumped into graphic design.
Okay, tennis to graphic design. Now, let's
Yeah.
talk about the graphic design. Great tennis story there. Thank you for sharing. What
Oh,
is
no
the
problem.
important what is the importance of graphic design in our society today?
Well, when I was learning about graphic design, you always see it as a beautiful, maybe a nice billboard, a nice package from a shampoo, or a nice beverage package, or maybe something, a beautiful website. But graphic design is huge because it is, even from the time of beginning of the 19th century, there was already a lot of design with posters for promoting the plays, or promotions for theater, but also for propaganda, for political influence. So graphic design, even if we don't notice, it's in every aspect of our life, from a Facebook ad to even how Facebook is being designed. That's also graphic design. The way how an advertising on a magazine, or how a poster is designed, everything it's in our society. And I think graphic design is beautiful in the part of, if you make it as an art, but it's also very commercial, and it's also very influential in way how you can sometimes control and manipulate people, the way how what they want to buy, or the way how they think, or the way how they do things. So graphic design is really a very powerful tool to do good things, and sometimes could be bad things too, depending on which way you go. But in the end, everything starts with the base of art, text, and images, and how you want to sell an idea. So you can improve people's life also with graphic design.
So it's fair to say that social media today, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, use the graphic design a lot.
Yes, the graphic design as a base is a starting point, and then from there there's different disciplinaries like user experience or user interface, in where people buy data or getting research of how the people uses Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, then create a specific elements, for example, emojis, or the way how the font, you can write your font, or the style. So anything that we see right now in social media, a lot of stuff is news, but also it's connected with some type of design. So you sometimes are prone to read something because the text is very well done, or it means something for you, but also could be because of the graphic, how that text is being laid out. It also attracts you to click or to read or to learn more. So yes, I would say graphic design is everywhere where we see it. For example, every time I go to do groceries, a lot of times I know what I need to buy. You buy always the classic brands because you know the brand is good, you know the product is good. Sometimes the packaging is not nice, but sometimes you find beautiful bottles of wine that has beautiful label, and sometimes you're just attracted because they're beautiful. And then you buy that. Maybe eventually the product is not good, but it was a nice feeling, the design. So yes, everything that we see around us is graphic design.
Okay. Now, you told me you have been doing this for 15 years. So what
Yep.
is the most memorable moment in your 15 years experience in graphic design?
Well, I would say that when I started in a small agency, I first started as a basic production designer, where you
Mm-hmm.
do, this is what normally you do when you start your career. You do a lot of production, a lot of corrections, and I was working a lot of doing ads and distributing ads for the music industry. After a couple of years there, I learned a lot of how to create logos, how to create a brand, how to develop that. I moved into tourism industry, and I worked there for 12 years, and I loved what I was doing. And still, it's amazing how with design, creating content, especially a lot of visitor guides and magazine, I was able to influence people that I know that I would never see them, but to influence them to go visit a place, visit a city or a country or a state, and to enjoy the beauty of that destination. And I was doing all this in a cubicle just by looking around photos in Google or searching in different things online, for me sometimes to discover or how to sell that certain destination to people. And I think the one that was memorable for me was like, it was a moment around 2007, 2008 that people were like, oh, print is dead. We need to go directly to digital. And print is not dead. Print is still continue, but it's true. Everything, my shift was from print to now the last 10 years, it's been a lot of digital. So the memorable part is how from print, I was able to transition digitally, meaning designing websites, designing banner ads, designing social media content, and creating all that, everything that goes digital. Because yes, now everything, we do it from our palm of our hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the part that I would say it was transition of print to web. And the idea that people think at the time that print is dead, and I don't think it's dead, it's going to continue. There's always going to be necessity for print, and each country will have different, now newspapers, for example, are more digital in the United States, but I know in other countries, print in newspaper is huge. So it is, I think print will never die, and digitally, yes, we need to, it's going to keep expanding into it. It will be bigger.
Good. What are the corporations you deal with in general, locally or sometimes statewide or international?
Well,
when
I was working on, for example, when I was working on the tourism industry, we were working a lot with different states in the United States. For example, we were doing a lot of stuff for New Mexico, for Tennessee. I was doing a lot of things for Grand Junction, Colorado, San Jose, California. And what I was working with was with a group of team from content design, from content creation to designers to me creating the content for a website or a magazine or a visitor's guide. And these were beautiful places because we would travel. Sometimes we would travel. Other times, like I said, I have to do it from my cubicle. And then when I stopped working on the tourism industry, I still do a lot of hotels work, especially websites, redesign websites for different hotels and hospitality industry, especially like Hilton or Frederica Living. And one of the things we do there is basically create new redesigned websites, not only to make it look pretty, but also be able to sell the destination or the hotel or the property in a way that the user, when they go to the website, they can figure out prices or locations or things that they want to buy. And then the other companies that I'm being also working now, it's a lot of retail, closets, closetmate.com, and then also a lot of lamps. There's a company, Capital Lighting. When we do, I'm doing with a group of a team, we work a lot on, merchandising on retail, how to have people buy these products. And so it's two different, in the end, I'm selling a destination or I'm selling a product, but all of that includes graphic design and content.
Right. Good. So what are the competition for graphic design out there?
Competition? Well, graphic design is a base start career, and from there is a lot of different disciplinaries. You can be, if you do a base in college as a graphic designer, and you don't need to go to college. You can also learn the softwares to be able to design. There is not really a competition there because the career is too vast. You can be a graphic designer, but then you can also go more into the digital world, like what I have done, which then you are responsible for doing user experience or user interface, which is design of how people navigate through the website. You can also be a web developer where you are not only designing, but also creating code to develop a front end of a website. Then from the graphic design point of view, you can also go to be an artist from, let's say, a set studio for a movie theater or for a commercial. You can go also through photography. So really there is not, like I say, a competition for it. Now right now, there is more and more people doing it because there is a lot of software that you can learn, not necessarily going to school. So if you learn how to use the software, you can call yourself a graphic designer. But the truth is you need to know the base on typography, the color, the composition. So not anybody can do it. You just need to literally practice a lot and have knowledge of how you need to be able to know the rules to be able then to break them in the graphic design world, in art.